everybody. How you doing today? This is Kristen over at Lost and Found Mercantile. And I have this tired old dresser here and I just want to update it just in time for the holidays for guests, you know. It's just not a very special dresser. It's kind of boring, but we're going to dry brush. We're going to put some dry brushing on it and add some stuff to it. So what I'm doing first is I'm just putting on a really light coat of driftwood, which is a little touch of gray, tan and a gray. It's the lightest gray by Dixie Belle. And I'm just kind of using that as a base coat. And I'm just going to lightly brush it on there. I don't worry about covering everything because we're then going to use some other colors like sea glass and fluff and hurricane gray maybe. And who knows what else, maybe some French linen, to add the appearance of texture and movement and depth just by doing some dry brushing, which is such a great, easy technique if you haven't tried it before. I really encourage you to give dry brushing a try if you're new to chalk paint. It's a great look. You can, depending on the colors you use, you can use so many different effects with it. I love it so much. I love dry brushing. It does not have to be an absolute perfect finish to get a really nice look. So I chose this dresser, you guys, because it's not a very special dresser. It's not an antique. It's just a cheapy dresser. And I figured, you know what, I'm just going to do some dry brushing on it. Maybe go for a little coastal look. I want to see let me see if you guys can see okay. I'm going to move you down here a little bit better. Maybe that's better. Let's see. Hi, Catherine. Let me know you guys are here and that you can see okay. Who here is new to chalk painting? We all started, right? And it's so much fun to experiment and learn. And it's so easy. It's like foolproof, because it does stick to anything, as you know. Now the dresser's not in bad shape. I'm painting with the drawers on because I am going to dry brush it. So I kind of want that look to be contiguous across the line. So that's why I'm doing that. But I won't let it dry with the drawers in. And lots of times I take the drawers out to paint. And it depends on the technique I'm going for. Like if it's a dry brush or a blend, I'll leave them in. But I take the hardware off. And look how easy the paint's going on. I could easily get full coverage with one coat, but because I kind of want like a really rustic look and I want to layer the colors, I'm not going to worry about that. Let's see. Hi, you guys. Hello, Wendy. If you guys have questions, please ask away. I will go back and answer any questions if I miss them during the live. Or if you watch on replay, I'll answer any questions. I go through, to make sure I answer all the questions that you may have. So yeah, who here finds painting furniture as therapy? Like me. That's how I feel about it. It's like this great creative outlet. It's so much fun. You could be creative. You can save things from landfills. It's awesome. You can update your home. I love it. So I'm just going to do the front right now for the sake of the video. And if we can get to it, I'll do one of the sides too. But this is a really quick, easy technique, you guys. It'll update a piece of furniture in no time at all. So if you're trying to say, hey, I want to kind of update maybe my guest room for the holidays, it's so easy to do this. I'm just kind of smoothing it out. There's a couple dings here and there, but that doesn't bother me because I want the look of texture and movement. When you do something like this and you are painting the whole piece, like when I paint the side, you don't have to match up exactly like the color dry brush, but you want to go in the same direction. So even though the wood grain on the side goes up and down, I'm going to dry brush back and forth so it looks the same all around, because that might look kind of weird. To brush on the base coat, I'm just putting some on there. It's going on so quick and easy. Hi, Mike. How are ya? So yeah, the shop is closed today. We have a little shop in Western Massachusetts, and we're closed today. And I got in here just in time to come on. because I was doing my grocery shopping for Thanksgiving. Gotta get some cooking done. Love cooking for Thanksgiving. It's not at my house, so I don't have to do the big turkey or anything. Thank you, Billy and Jane, for doing that. My brother and sister-in-law, but we are bringing some other things, and our family members are bringing other things too, so it's always fun. I'm just quickly going up the side because it's going on so quick and easy that we will do it. I think we'll be able to get it done in this video. But I just want to encourage you guys that if you're waiting like, oh my gosh, I want to update my kids' room or my room or anything, it's so quick and easy, and it's relaxing from the hustle and bustle of this time of year. You literally could just spend like an hour or two and have a whole new look. And it's not expensive because I'm using a nice synthetic brush to put this coat on, but you can use a chip brush, and I'm going to use a chip brush for the other colors. But I want to go fast, so I'm using this brush, this synthetic brush. It's a mini. I'm using this for the base coat, just because it does do a better job of covering it. And you just want to make sure you get the sides. That's all. So it's still wet, but that's okay. We're going to add some more paint to it. So what I like to do is, there's really no rules, honestly, with dry brushing. The only thing is you don't want to use too much paint on your brush. You can use your colors in any order you want. I mean, there's so many different options and color combinations. I'm kind of going for like a beachy look. That's why I'm doing like this really light gray driftwood. I mean, the name says it all, right? Driftwood. It's got to go for a beachy look with driftwood. And sea glass, hello. Got to do the sea glass. And then, so I like to either use 3 or 5 colors for some reason. So if I go beyond the sea glass and the fluff and the driftwood, then I will add in French linen and hurricane gray. But I may not, because it might look too busy. I don't know until I start. So these are chip brushes, you guys. There's a lot of different kinds out there. I love these. These are awesome. You can also get these like cheapy ones, or you can get like a nice premium one. I have never thrown out one of these premium chip brushes. I wash them over and over again. They're awesome. And then I also use them for wax brushes. They're great. The cheaper ones, they will shed, so you just got to be a little careful, but it's no big deal. So I think we're going to put some sea glass on next, and this is what the color looks like. It's a really pretty soft green blue. Really pretty. So, has anybody here painted with any of these colors before? I'm curious to know. So I'm just going to paint out of my lid of the jar. And this is how I load the brush for dry brushing. I just barely tap it in there. Look, there's barely any paint on there. And that's all you want to start. And just pick a place. And the way I find to dry brush, start like at one side and go across. So you don't really want to maybe start right here, but start up here and go across. And then go back. And just kind of move around. And you want to do a straight line, you don't really want to go curvy, not for this look. And I'm just kind of moving the brush around. Put a tiny bit more on. If you feel like you put too much on, just dab it off on a paper towel or shop cloth. And that's it. We're just going to layer these colors. It's all about layering the colors, just to add that little bit of movement and texture to your piece, a little bit of interest. So as you can see, you just kind of swoop it. It's a technical term, is swoop it. Dab and swoop, dab and swoop. Isn't that like that movie, Legally Blonde? What was that thing? Turn and whatever. Dab and swoop, guys. And there's no right or wrong. It's art. You just have fun with it. And we're just going to keep going and going. As you layer the colors, it'll soften the lines. Let me see if there's any questions. That's it. And I'm going this way across, but you can also go that way. I'll show you. So say I want a little bit bigger coverage. And see, I'm not making contact the whole time, but I start on one end and I finish on another end, just so it's not choppy. So you just kind of, you know, I'm not making contact, but my movement is going the whole time. And that way, you know, I'll soften all these little lines with the next colors. And I'll bring you in so you can see a little bit better. But we'll keep layering and layering the colors until all the brown wood is covered. We want it covered. We want to update it. I think it would look really cute in a guest room. I'm going to show you the knobs. I'm going to do something fun with the knobs. So like there's a couple like little lines that I'm not crazy about, so I go back in and just feather them out. Just feather out the lines. And I'm just going to keep adding to it. And adding that movement and interest and color. Maybe you guys can help me decide if I should add the other two colors I mentioned, or if I should just stick to the three colors. Let's see what happens with a little white, and then we'll decide. But this is dry brushing. You just use very little paint on your brush, and you just go kind of swoop it back and forth. And you can rub it in and like blend it in as much as you want, or not at all. I kind of like to go over it. Like I'm gonna go on to the next color, but before I do that, I'm gonna take the same brush with the sea glass on it, and I'm just gonna go over everything. Back and forth. Because I wanna smooth out all the paint in case there's any like really areas that have a little bit too much on it. And then we'll see what it looks like with the fluff. I like to start with the medium color as like more of the base color for this piece, but like another piece I would, you know, maybe do a lighter color as a base coat. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so we're gonna go on to fluff, but I wanna show you, these are the knobs. Just wooden knobs. So what I'm gonna do, you guys, is I think what I'm gonna do is make some molds with the redesigned by Prima molds and Seashore Treasures, I think it is. There's little shells and starfish, so I'll probably make those molds tonight and adhere them, and then I'll paint them tomorrow and put them on. I think that might look kind of cute. Hello. Oh, you're washing your brushes. You're so good, Lorraine. You're washing your brushes. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at washing my brushes. I am so bad with my brushes. I really am. It's terrible. I'm not proud of it at all. Okay, so now we're gonna go with the white. And I'm just, again, painting right out of my lid. I never, see that sea glass? I just paint it out of the lid. I never reload it from the jar. It takes very little paint. The coverage is awesome. So again, you just dab it. Just barely any on there. Barely any on there. And I'm just gonna start wherever. Oh yeah. So the white adds a nice brightness to it. I love the contrast. And we will go back and smooth it out. So it'll be all nice and smoothed out. But at first, you just want to get the color on there. You just want to get it on there, let it start doing its thing, and then we will go back and smooth it out. I like the white. It adds a really nice brightness to it. See, right here, I'm not crazy about what I did. Or right here, so I'm gonna fix that with some paint. Fix it with some paint, you guys. But to me, this is a great way to relax. Doing all your stuff for Thanksgiving and then for Christmas. Feels good to kind of do something for yourself and for your home, so your guests, you know, I think it would be cute in a guest room. Your guests feel cozy. We love having guests at our house. Love it, love it, love it. And our dogs love it. Oh my gosh, they can't get enough attention. You would think they're starved for attention. But they're not. They are not starved for attention at our house, trust me. But they just cannot get enough. So we love having people stay over, and we want them to feel welcome at our house. So this This fluff is a little bit thicker, I'm finding, so I'm gonna smooth it out, and I might even mist my brush. And you can tell if your brush is dragging. I usually don't mist. You don't want to mist a lot when you dry brush because you're adding water, and that really kind of defeats the purpose. But I'm not loving how some of the white is laying down because it's thick. So I'm just gonna very lightly mist my brush. I mean, very lightly. And then I'm just gonna very lightly smooth it out, just a bit. There we go. Okay. So what do you guys think? Should I add French linen and hurricane gray, or is that gonna be too busy? Or should I just continue and go back with some driftwood and then some sea glass and just keep doing that? What do you guys think? Anybody have an opinion? There's really no right or wrong because it's paint and it's better than it was, right? But I want it to look nice. It definitely needs more. I just got to decide if I'm going to add in some gray, some darker gray and darker taupe. Let's see if anybody thinks of anything. Okay. Let's see. Well, you know what? Why not? Let's just keep going. I'm going to add some more. What is the worst that can happen? We're just going to keep layering some paint, right? All of them? Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jacqueline. So I'm going to do the darker color next because you don't want as much dark, because you don't need as much for it to stand out. And this is Hurricane Gray, which is an awesome medium gray color. I love it. Love it. And again, I'm just going to take a little chip brush and just dab it in the lid. So there's barely any on there. And I'm just going to start painting. So now oh yeah, good call, Jacqueline. Just put them all on there. The other thing I like to do that I'll do before I put some French linen on is I have this like a shop towel, and I'll just wipe it down, and it kind of melds it all together nicely. Because the darker colors do stand out, as you can see. So I will probably use some more fluff and sea glass also. Because you don't want it to look like stripey, you know? You just want it to look like a weathered look. Really easy weathered look. Doesn't cost a lot to do this. You can just use chip brushes and a couple colors of paint. And it doesn't use a lot of paint. So I have a quilt rack that I'm thinking for the same room that I'm going to paint in sea glass. I was actually going to do it today with you guys, but probably won't have enough time. So I might go to my page after this, Lost and Found Mercantile, if you want to watch that. I'm just going to do probably sea glass over a really tired quilt rack. It's really tired. It told me it needed a makeover. It told me so. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some French linen, and I'm going to add some of the other colors. But before I do that, what I want to do is just take this. I like to use microfiber towels or old t-shirt, an old clean t-shirt, or I just happen to have this. And I'm just going to very lightly, barely any pressure, because you don't want to take the paint off. I'm just kind of like rubbing it in, melding it together. I don't want any harsh lines. And any harsh lines, you know, it'll go away each layer. We'll add some dimension and take away any harsh lines. This makes me want to go to the beach. So it didn't take a lot of paint off. It just kind of like rubs it together a little bit. It took it off up here. The spot isn't doing too great. I'm gonna have to put some more, let me put some driftwood on there, and then we'll go with that. Okay, so now this is French linen. This is a beautiful taupe color. I'm in love with this color. It's just a really nice addition to this. And I love this color so much. Uh-oh. Of course, I didn't open my jar before we came on. There we go. Bang it on the ground. And I'm gonna use one of these guys, these cheapies. So you guys like the idea of the molds on the on these knobs? Putting some seashells and starfish and that type of thing? Yeah, you can paint over varnish, Susan. You just want to clean it really well. I prefer White Lightning by Dixie Belle. I'd even took magic marker off of this piece. So I've painted a huge hutch before that had varnish on it. And I scrubbed it with White Lightning. Scrubbed it. And it deglossed it. It was awesome. And the paint went on beautifully. So you can definitely paint over varnish. You just want to scrub it really well and rinse your cleaning agent really well. If you use White Lightning or something like that, it has a little side effect of deglossing it, so I love that. Over, like, say, vinegar and water or something. So I'm going to put a little bit more on. Yeah, and so you really want to, like, when I was cleaning that varnished piece, I had to keep scrubbing it because it was taking the varnish off, which was great. I didn't have to strip it or anything. I just cleaned it really well. It also had like years and years of grime on it. So it took all that stuff off, it deglossed it, and then I was able to paint it, and it was awesome. And I would never hesitate picking up a piece that had varnish on it to paint because of that. This paint really does. Chalk paint will stick to anything. It's so good. So once in a while, you might have a problem piece of furniture, and you'll need like another product maybe to help it along. But you honestly don't always know that until you start painting. Like I've had pieces that mahogany, for example, they'll bleed, so I'll have to use Boss, which blocks it. Or something's really laminate furniture. I don't always use Lick Stick with laminate, but I often will. But you'll be happy. You'll be happy to paint that varnish piece. It'll brighten it up. Do you know what color you want to paint it? I love talking about paint. I gotta add some sea glass in here, guys. What do you think? Some more sea glass? I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna, so this is my French linen brush, and I'm just gonna turn it this way and just run it across everything. And that's just to kind of feather it out and feather out those lines. Just feather it out. So dry brushing, if you're brand new to chalk painting, this is a great way to learn and to experiment, because you don't have to have this perfect technique for it to look great. You just have to, use your imagination, and it's a process. So you just have to be patient as you're layering the colors, and you say, ooh, I don't like that. Well, add a little bit more white or add a little more sea glass, and then you will like it. And you'll say, oh my gosh, I did that? You can do it, you guys. I think we need some sea glass. What do you guys think? You're watching from Georgia? Oh, hey, Georgia. Yes, please. Jacqueline, what, sea glass? You think sea glass? I think it needs some sea glass to brighten it up. I think so. I think that's what we'll do. And then maybe a little bit more of the fluff. So maybe I'll do the knobs. Maybe I'll do the knobs like really heavy on the sea glass to kind of brighten it up. What do you guys think? So again, just go back and forth. You can have your brush going this way. You can have your brush going that way. You just want to use a very little paint. I'm just tapping it in my lid, and there's barely any paint on there. And I'm just gonna go. And that's what I like to do. I like to just go back and forth. Now I'm not making contact the whole time, but it helps kind of like one line, so it's not too choppy. And you might see an area like, oh, I want more of it there. So then like, okay, let me concentrate right there. Ooh. And then you can just concentrate in one little area and kind of feather it out heavier in one area. Like this area, it's having I gotta let it dry really well over here before I add some more to it. if you have an area that's like that, you guys, even if you cleaned it and rinsed it really well, like I said, sometimes, you don't know. It's okay. Just let that area dry really well before you add more paint to it. Because what you're doing is, when you add more paint to it, you're adding water to water, so it's going to take it off. That's kind of like my thing when I paint glass jars, too. Let it dry really well in between coats. So I'm not having that issue anywhere else. It's just this one little area, and that's okay. I just got to let that little area dry really well before I go back to it. Uh-oh, I really do what? I hope I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so I'm going to do some more fluff. I don't know. Maybe that's enough fluff in there. What do you guys think? Fluff? I don't know. That might be enough fluff. Well, we'll just put a little bit more on. I always love layering it. Uh-oh, something's falling. Isn't that weird, you guys? I'm in the shop by myself, and an empty jar of paint just fell off of the shelf. I don't know what that means, but whoever's here is friendly. It's okay, guys. Come paint with me. So I dipped it out of my jar because it's pretty empty, so I'm pouncing it out into the lid. And now there's barely any paint on there. I know, I think I do have a ghost in here, but it's a friendly one. I've never been scared in here, but sometimes when I am in here by myself, like, some weird things have happened, but I've never felt like threatened or afraid about it. So it's friendly. Oh boy, I think that might be a little too much fluff. Not loving that as much. Let's see. Kind of like not loving that as much. I'm going to blend that in there a little bit. Maybe the ghost wants to paint with us. That's okay. You can paint with me. I like painting with. I don't have to paint alone. Help. Maybe the ghost is trying to tell me what color to use. Maybe a little more of the French linen. Problem is, you really can't go wrong with any of the color combinations. You really can't. You just want to kind of go with the theme a little bit. That's the hardest part with painting with this Paint Dixie Belle. The hardest part is picking out the colors because the colors are gorgeous. There's so many awesome combinations. And my hardest thing is picking out the colors and what I'm going to use because there's so many options. Like, I was thinking of doing, if I wasn't going to do coastal, I was thinking this would look really cool with, like, barn red. And I love these colors together. These are like this is like my bright farmhouse look. I love these colors with drop cloth. I was thinking of doing something. You could do something farmhousey and add drop cloth in there, and maybe some midnight sky. There's so many things you could do. Maybe your team colors, if you're doing this for your kid and they have a lot of school spirit. Let's see. I think we're gonna do a little more of the driftwood because it's a nice neutral base, and then we can add more to it. They want to paint, exactly. I would let them paint. Come on over and help me. So this is the driftwood, and I'm using a synthetic brush, but that's okay. You don't have to use a synthetic brush. You don't have to have all the fancy tools to do dry brushing. Really, the chip brushes kind of give you a more rustic look. But because I did this as my base coat and I wanted to quickly cover it, I'm using a synthetic brush, which is nice because it does kind of smooth it out. Like, I wasn't crazy about that area, so I will redo that area. These areas. So the thing is, like, it's all about your preference. As long as you like it and you have fun, that's all that matters. It's so easy, even a ghost can do it. So I'm going to do a little bit more, and I'm going to bring you guys in so you can see better the colors together. So would anybody on here try brushing piece like this. See how quick and easy it is? It's so quick and easy. I'm gonna do the sides right here because what I'm gonna do before I pull you in, I'm just gonna pull the drawers out. And I usually use like a little, 2 little screwdrivers to pull out the drawers. But you wanna make sure you got your paint all the way to the side, all the way in. And I just wanna smooth out a couple of the areas here so it looks better. It's so much fun. You know what? I could be home cleaning right now, but I'm not, so this is so much better. I'd rather be here with you guys. So I'm just kind of, where the drawer meets it, I'm just kind of smoothing that out because I wasn't crazy about it. The other thing you can do is, once it's dry a little bit more, you can sand it back if you want. You can add some wax, but I'm gonna add a little more color. But I wanna bring you guys in so you can see a little bit better. So you see how like the colors kinda, I'm looking for like a little easy, beachy, washed look. And it will look really cute with the knobs, I think. So, let's see, I'm gonna add a little more color in there. Like up here needs something. Can never go along with sea glass. Sea glass was one of the very first colors by Dixie Belle that I tried. And I love it, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love it. That's what I'm gonna go on my page and I'm just gonna go, it's called Lost and Found Mercantile. I'm gonna go live on my page in a few minutes just because I have my paint out. There's this ugly dated quilt rack. It's black and it's got that star on it, you know? And I just wanna freshen it up and I'm just gonna put a coat of sea glass on it. So I think I'm gonna go do that. If the ghost allows me. La la la. And there are Dixie Belle retailers all over, you guys. If you're interested in buying Dixie Belle, any of their products, you can go to their website or their Facebook page, find your retailer and put your zip code in. And you can find a retailer near you, and that is like an awesome source to learn more about the products, and it's awesome. I love being a retailer. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let this dry a little bit, and I'm gonna go back over it with a little bit more paint. Like I want to smooth out. I might sand that back a little bit. Add a little bit more in there. Sometimes it's hard to know when to stop. That's my problem. I don't know when to stop sometimes because I want to keep creating. I just want to keep going. And there's really nothing wrong that you can do with paint. You're updating a piece. I mean, somebody was getting rid of this dresser. I bought it for $5 on Marketplace. They did not want it. So I went and picked it up, and I'm like, it's a cheapy dresser, but it's the drawers work awesome. It's got separators in between each drawer, and all the tracks are there, and it slides awesome. So I'm like, I'm just gonna update it with a little paint, a little dry brushing, and some molds. So anyways, you guys, I hope you'll try dry brushing. If you have any questions, not just about dry brushing, but about any of the Dixie Belle products or painting or anything like that, you guys can always private message me at Lost and Found Mercantile. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I appreciate you guys tuning in, and have a great Thanksgiving if you're here in America, where I am. So have a great day, you guys. Thank you so much. Mwah! Bye-bye. Bye.